everyone, it's Miss Sote. So since I didn't want to take all of class to do our notes, then I decided to make this last example a video. And I chose this one as a video because y'all have worked with quadratic formula before, and it's not really as exciting as factoring. So we're basically just going to find our A, B, and C, plug it into the equation, and simplify. So if we look at the equation that was on our notes, we have f of x equals 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. You totally could factor this, and if you prefer the factoring method, go for it. You don't have to use the quadratic formula. I just want to show you how to use the quadratic formula if you do happen to like that form better. So first, since we're working with the quadratic formula, we got to figure out, okay, what's A, what's B, and what is C? And if you remember from our notes where we wrote out the formula or the general form of a quadratic, 4 was our A, 12 would be our B, and 9 would be our C. So let's just rewrite this so that it's all separate from the rest of it. So we've got C equals 9, B equals 12, and A equals 4. And that literally just comes from the very top of our notes where we said f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And now let's rewrite our absolute favorite formula, the quadratic formula. So x equals, and then I'm going to try and color code this, so this might take a little bit, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times A times C, and then that's all over 2 times A. So now that we've written out the formula, all we have to do is substitute these values into our equation. So let's do that real quick. So I'm going to end up with x equals negative 12 plus or minus the square root of 12 squared minus 4 times A, which is 4, times C, which is 9. And then that's all over, I'm going to redraw that. That was a horrible line. And then that's all over 2 times A. Perfect. So all we're going to do now is simplify a little bit. So negative 12 is fine. Let's simplify everything under the square root. 12 squared is 144. So I'm going to pull out my calculator and do 144 minus 4 times 4 times 9. 4 times 4 times 9. And I end up with 0, which is totally fine. Because remember, 0 can totally be under a square root. We're good to go. 2 times 4 is 8. So now we have x equals negative 12 plus or minus 0. Square root of 0 is 0, so we don't really need that part anymore, over 8. And let's simplify this a little bit. 12 divided by 4 is, or negative 12 divided by 4 is 3. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So our final answer is x equals negative 3/2. And if you're like, well, Miss Sote, I thought the quadratic formula gave us 2 answers. Remember that you can always have 2 answers, 1 answer, or 0 answers. So if we graphed this equation real quick on Desmos, we would see that it only hits the x-axis once. So 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. As you can see, our vertex is also our 0. It only hits it at one point. If we had had 4x squared plus 12x plus 10, we would have gotten a negative in this square root, which would have meant that there were no solutions. So I just wanted to do this example because it was a nice way of showcasing when a quadratic only has one solution. Let me know if you have any questions. That's our notes for today. Have a great day.